Hey guys, welcome back to Mo's Game Table. Today we're going to take a look inside Space Empire's Replicators. This is a game designed by Jim Crone and published by GMT. This is the second expansion for the Space Empire's 4X system, which is also designed by Jim Crone. And these, when they come in print, they go out of print fairly quick. So I made sure I was able to get both expansions this time, and we're going to take a look at the second one, Space Empire's Replicators, now. It says here on the back of the box, Space Empire's Replicators is the second expansion to Space Empire's 4X. There are four major parts to this expansion. Replicators. Von Neumann machines or replicators are self-replicating machines. They have been added to the game and may be played by one player in the game. So much more than just adding a fifth player, they add an empire that plays completely differently than a normal empire. It is simpler to play, but has its own challenges and difficulties. They behave, research, and reproduce differently than other empires, and they have their own empire advantages. Terrain tiles. Hex-sized terrain tiles have been added for planets, asteroids, nebulae, and other permanent terrain effects. 6 whole sheets and 120 tiles. When an exploration marker reveals a terrain effect that stays on the map, the exploration marker is removed and replaced by a tile. This gives the map a nice visual effect and creates more room in the hexes. Resource deck. Each player is dealt his own random resource deck at the start of the game. These cards can be used as an event or turned in for CP. Some cards impact battles, exploration, economics, almost every aspect of the game. They add some unpredictable twists and can impact your strategy. New ships and terrain. More new stuff has been added, including the Galactic Capital, which comes with its own scenario, regional map, space pirates, folded in space, battle carriers, fighter fours, advanced destroyers, advanced raiders, 2 new empire advantages, 2 new alien tech cards, and some additional and corrected counters. The system is exactly the same, but more awesomeness is added. And you have an example of some of the cards that you get in the game, as well as the counters and the tiles that come with the game as well. It says here the game contents, you get 2 counter sheets of 5/8 inch counters, 6 terrain tile sheets, 120 tiles, a deck of resource cards, 4 player aid cards, production pad for replicators, and 2 other production pads for no facilities and facilities, combined rules, scenario book, and the game scale is 1 to 6 ships or squadrons, 1 year per economic turn, and it is for 1 to 5 players. Over here, the complexity is rated as a 4 on a scale of 1 to 9, and the solitaire suitability is at a 9. And this is an expansion, so you will need the base game. So let's take a look inside and see what you get. All right, so we get our rulebook, a fleet card, player aid cards. We get the No Research and Research Center pads. We've got our terrain tiles. We've got 6 sheets of those. And then we have new counters for the replicators and for the existing units in the game. And then we have our deck and some baggies. So let's take a closer look at the components we get. And here's a look at the counter sheets that come with the game. This is the additional units that you're going to have for the existing empires in the game from the base game and from the first expansion, and some new admin counters, as well as the counters for the replicators, their units, and their administrative counters as well. And here's a look at the terrain tiles that come with the game. This is pretty exciting. I think you get 6 sheets of these, 120 terrain tiles. Each empire is going to have their own, and you're going to have other. Those are for the empires, and then you're going to have some extra terrain tiles just for the terrain on the board itself, which I think is going to really make the board look much more attractive than it is, because right now it's just kind of a big blank map, and it's just look at it like a canvas, and this is a way to paint that canvas and make a much more attractive environment to play in. And I think the art on these is pretty fantastic. They're double-sided, so you're going to have different objects on the back, and these are nice, thick counters. I'm going to actually punch one of these out. As you can see, nice and thick tile here, just like a regular counter. And that's a supernova right there. But pretty excellent addition to the game. So going to really make the map look so much better. And the game comes with 3 different pads of production sheets. So you have the replicator production sheet, You have the Replicator production sheet with no research center and also with research center. So there's a good number of them here. You're not going to have to worry about running out of them, but If you do, you can always print out more, or you can just do what a lot of people do. I know I like to do it. You just laminate a sheet and use a dry erase marker on it, and then you don't have to worry about ever running out of a sheet if you're concerned about that. And we have 4 of these player aid cards. This is the Replicator ship chart. On the front gives you all the different types of ships for the replicators. And on the back you have the research chart, which explains to you the research tree for the replicators empire. All right, so we'll take a quick look at these resource cards that you get with the game. These are your standard GMT quality cards, really thick. You're not going to have to worry about them withstanding abuse. They're definitely going to take it real well. I tend to sleeve these cards just because it makes it easier to shuffle them, but you don't need to if you don't want to. Great art on them and plenty of good effects. Good sized text, easy to read, and covers a lot of different things here in the game. And here are a couple of different alien technology deck cards. They are Superhighway and Onboard Workshop. And the Empire Advantage deck for the replicators, you get fast replicators, green replicators, improved gunnery, warp gates, advanced research, and replicator capital. Those are the Empire Advantage deck cards for the replicators. And a couple more Empire Advantage cards are On the Move and Longbowman. These are 2 new additional ones. This is the rulebook that comes with Space Empire's Replicators. It is a 27-page rulebook. It starts off with the introduction and then the rule changes and clarifications for all versions of the game, including the base and the first expansion, Close Encounters. Then you have the using their terrain tiles, how those work, those new terrain tiles which we looked at, the Galactic Capital, Regional Map, Space Pirate, Fold in Space, and the advanced construction rules, and the different types of bases that you have in the game, and fighters, miners, scouts, different ships that you get, new alien technology and how those are used, resource card rules, and then the resource card list, which goes over all the cards and what they are, what they do. Then you have the replicators of von Neumann machines. This specifically goes into the replicator empire, movement colonization, combat research, construction points, strategy, device, and balancing. And then the Replicator Empire Advantage cards. Then we get into our scenarios on page 18, and it includes using scenarios on the Talon map, so you can kind of expand things out if you have Talon as well as Space Empires 4X. And then the sequence of play during combat and movement. Then we get into the solitaire rules for the replicators, setup and general information, the initiative, exploration, and exploration ships, and movement, how that's handled for the AI. And then combat, the economic phase, and the replicator advantages. And we are at the back of the rulebook. That is a look at everything that comes with Space Empire's Replicators, the second expansion to the Space Empire's 4X system, designed by Jim Crone and published by GMT Games. As you can see, there's a good amount of stuff that you get in this game. You get the Replicators Empire. We also get new additional units for the existing empires from the base game and Close Encounters. We've got a whole new set of resource cards and alien technology. We've also got new rulebook, including solitaire rules for the replicators, and these hex-size tiles, which is going to be fantastic on the table. It's really going to make the map pop and make things a lot easier to manage because it'll cut down on the counter clutter on the hexes themselves. And as you know, with the Space Empires 4X series, when these games are in print, they tend to not stay in print very long because they're very popular. So if you've been curious about these games, don't hesitate. Go get a copy now before they go out of print, and then you have to wait a couple years or pick up a copy on the secondary market. But highly recommend the system. It's a really great system, a lot of fun, whether it's solitaire or with a group of people. So hope this helps you guys out. Do you have any comments or questions? Post them down below. Thanks for tuning in, guys. See you next time.